unending darkness.
Darkness. Unleash the inferno! No restraining the explosion! Did someone leave an oven door open?
Baking like a cake.
Bacon like a cake.
This seems to be the location mentioned in Evelyn's diary.
It looks like it, but where is the entrance?
Excuse me, you're standing just exactly in my sun. Me? Oh, I'm long retired now. Enjoying the sunshine is far preferable to gutting rabbits over silly stones, after all. But they say a sorcerer's work is never done, but I seem to have finished mine quite in time to enjoy my golden years. Source murder, Cecile. Oh, I don't concern myself with such matters anymore. Channeling source is more hassle than it's worth, and Cecile's a fish-reeking backwater I've no interest in visiting. Well, most certainly, though I haven't practiced in quite a few years. All the ferocity and fire of it just can't hold my interest the way a mellow afternoon on the beach can. You're giving me a strange sort of look, my friend. Is the heat getting to you?
Agreed. Abstain from sorcery, and you'll have no problem with the likes of us.
Oh, Source Hunter, are you? Oh. Aren't Source Hunters supposed to be a bit, well, fierce and awe-inspiring? You look more like you'd like to settle down for a bit of sunbathing with yours truly. Help yourself then, it's a big beach. Go on then. Read the spell, my friend? We who step through yonder gate the hunters hate, eh? Doesn't sound like your sort of crowd, does it? Oh, do you really need me to get into the tiresome details? There are some people inside, people and things, equipment of some nature or other. I was given a bit of gold to keep people, that's you, out. So that's what I do. We needn't make this any more complicated than it has to be. Don't let's worry about that just now, my friend. Why don't you step away? Oh, brown hair, nasty temper, big staff, huh? I suppose she's the one who tasked me with this little posting. She's always running in and out of the place with a foul look on her face. Friend of yours? Now, don't push me, Source Hunter. I'd like to go back to enjoying the sun, and I'm sure you'd like to go back to whatever it is a scout like you gets up to. Trust me, there's nothing in that cave worth dying over. And frankly, I'd quite prefer not to get your blood all over my beach blanket. Most certainly, though I haven't practiced. You aren't planning on going where you ought not to go, are you? Well, for a man of my age, it's quite a pleasure being dragged into others' affairs every now and then. Especially when they end with a Source Hunter's corpse being thrown quite gleefully into the ocean.
friend. We have done it. The secret lair of Evelyn is before us at last. I will follow where you lead, into this mystery, and out the other side of it too. I've got to warn the others.
Meet your demise!
Come on then, open the damn gate. We ain't got all bleeding day. Oi! Is you the one what locked this here gate? We need to speak to Evelyn. Can't you recognise a fellow immaculate when you see one? Just 'cause I got twice your strength in my little toe, don't mean we ain't equal in the goddess's eyes. Well, myself, I need a hand choosing drapes for me kitchen windows. Are you daft? I need to inform her about the happenings in the Black Cove. But since my lady seems to have barred her gates to the likes of us, why don't you tell her this, small bones? We've run into a snag in the cove, but we're pushing through. The Starstone will be hers soon enough. I reckon if you don't already know, that may be above your pay grade. Take it up with Evelyn, why don't you? Or, better yet, have a look for yourself. You seem like just the type those pirates would love to get their hands on. Is that right, small bones? Maybe you can give me a single good reason for I rip your arms out. Fair enough, small bones, fair enough. Let the good lady know we look forward to meeting with her, will ya?
These fellows are so focused on their work, they seem to be impervious to any other distractions.
Shake them out of their strange stupor.
authorized this little trick of yours? Councillor Jake, made undead. How dare you waste your time on petty tricks while Brachus Rex is still underground? Have you forgotten your task?
Leandra, I wasn't expecting you. The councillor, he's... If I had known his fate concerned you,
Silence! You will address me by my title, you ungrateful little girl.
As will I, oh conduit. Let me stress how lovely it is to see your face once more. Even in my present condition,
Your function has been served, Counselor. I thank you for your efforts.
I live. I died only for your cause.
I do so despise dealing with one matter twice, Evelyn. I will tolerate another such misstep. Pray that my ire will subside. Go on, pray.
Does anybody else smell smoke?
witch.
Soaked to the skin.
I sing the body electric.
The Source Hunter. Dear dead heaven told me you had landed in Seal, drawn to my source-riddled corpse like flies to excrement. Well, here I am. A man no longer. A monster instead. Unworthy of the conduit's grace. The very same Jake, counselor by day, sorcerer by night, martyr in death. Mean? Do you contest it? Huh? You presumptuous dog. I died serving the conduit. Leandra! Leandra! Oh, blessed conduit! I'd have followed you till the end of time. But it wasn't to be. I was stuck down in the prime of my sorcery, and by whom? Leandra's own sister. The pox upon her. I, Ikara! Ikara! I spit on every syllable. They call her the White Witch. She is powerful in her own right, but never would I have thought she'd challenge her sister Leandra and kill one of the most loyal. Me. Very little indeed. What concern was that foul woman of mine? White Witch perhaps, but black sheep of her family too. She shunned her sister's teachings. Can you believe that? She could have been the very conduit's right hand, but she shunned her. Oh, take vengeance upon her, blessed Leandra. I invoke you. Open her veins, bleed her dry. Give her a function at last. My murder, a tale of woe. The time, a misty midnight. The place, the King Crab Inn. The players, myself, Leandra, Ikara, and a stranger whose identity I have never established. The conduit was there to meet with this stranger, and had tasked me to stand ready to overpower him if necessary. I heard sounds of passion at first, but later of angry argument. Then I heard Leandra's command, and I entered the room. She swerved past me, and oh, I can still feel the rasp of her holy breath upon my ear. Whispered, "Finish him." The man lay on the floor, struck down and ready for my knife, which I plunged deep into his heart. Yet, but not a moment later, Ikara burst through the window, and I was defenseless. She savagely tore my life from my body, and I died in the glow of the source. A holy martyr, slain in the name of the conduit. Foolish grasper. She who thought herself the conduit's favorite couldn't stand that I had been privileged as a confidant. When she realized the conduit had been in the inn the night I was killed, she couldn't stand to think that I had been trusted where she had not. She brought me back to unlife so that I would reveal what I knew. She wanted to work her way back into the conduit's confidence. But as you saw, Leandra had no interest in Evelyn's petty tricks. Yes, yes, the king is dead, but not for long. Long live the king! The Blackest Rex has no equal hunter. His knowledge of the source is absolute. and through him so will the conduits be. The hour is nigh. You do not realize it yet, but his axe is falling towards your scrawny neck. And I am of little use to Leandra's cause now. My worm-eaten brine is an insult to her perfection. To my grave, then, I will go. I suppose she'll not grudge me my portion of rest.
Rex was he, though only half as holy. The Source King. He is more than legend.
Treasure! The Epic of Barren Falls, I gather. You're smarter than you look and smell.
The immaculate snake sprouts a new head wherever we look. If our murder victim's one of them crazy cultists, anyone could be.
Perhaps the Attenborough who kidnapped Jarrett is another head of the snake. But oh, I hope he has not suffered a fate like Jake's.
Both are. How jolly! There's something quite astounding you must see. It's the Weaver. Thanks to the Starstone you've collected, she's mended a portion of the tapestry. Look, a new story has been rewoven into time. A new portion of history appears to us for the first time in not even I know how long. Let us look together. Let us see what the Weaver has woven.
Long ago, two great generals led mankind in a terrible war. The dreaded Void Dragon threatened all of existence, and man and gods alike joined swords to stop it. The two generals were celebrated as the rulers of all, and even the gods paid them tribute.
Gods! No one could have predicted such a dark turn of events. This is worse than my deepest fears made manifest. It just cannot be that they aim to resurrect him. Brachus Rex. It cannot be! Forgive me, this news just so very upsetting. This thing. It was the king of tyrants, the embodiment of terror. The lunatics that seek his rise must be stopped, whatever the cost. I do. I do indeed. Brachus would unseat the king of demons in sheer perfidy and malice given half a chance. For the world, for you and I to suffer his perversions once more is unthinkable. The possibility of his return is more than I can bear. And Ikara, that she has been dragged into this sorry business adds insult to insufferable injury. There have long been rumors that Brachus's corpse was interred in the vaults beneath the abandoned Church of the Seven in Sicil's eastern hinterlands. That place is crawling with undead these days, so the rumors may well be true. Where Leandra goes, the dead rise left and right. And even in death, the long-lost tyrant's corruption appears to persist. Come to think of it, did anyone in Evelyn's lair mention the name Cassandra? It's nothing, Hunter. Nothing. My mind is reeling, but I'll feel better soon. After you've cut short Leandra's dark pursuits. She is a great woman hunter, a champion of all that is good and pure. She may have killed Jake, but then again, the man turned out to be a vile sorcerer. I can only surmise that she is on to her sister's sinister schemes, which makes me fear for her safety more than anything else. Leandra. I know her, though I haven't seen her in years. As you know, she and Ikara are sisters. It's hard for me to believe that she's leading this cult, that she's delirious enough to go after Brachus Rex. But clearly her involvement can no longer be denied. She's as smart as 10 wizards put together, Hunter. An opponent to be feared. Now, you said Jake and Evelyn called her the Conduit, didn't you? In that case, she may just be the elusive head of the Immaculates. There's a village in the forests north of Sicil where a new religion has taken hold. Its followers call themselves Immaculates. And I've heard say they worship a leader called the Conduit. This village is called Silverglen. And if my suspicions turn out to be correct, there is sorcery at work there. Alas, I haven't the foggiest. Another sorcerer, perhaps? Or simply another victim of Leandra's ploys? The Legion didn't find a second body at the scene of the crime, so maybe he escaped with his life after all. Though, just as likely, his body too was taken away by Evelyn for experimentation. And I will see if I can find out more about Ikara's involvement. But in the meantime, please pursue Leandra to the old church in the east and stop her before she can raise Brachus. I beg of you.
Brachus Rex's name alone is enough to turn our friendly neighborhood wizard into a scaredy cat.
I wonder why this ancient spectre spooks him so. Ahu doesn't strike me as the type to scare very easily.
And so the mystery is solved. Councillor Jake was murdered by this so-called White Witch, Ikara. But as it stands, I guess our next concern is Brachus Rex. Agreed. If Brachus is half as dangerous as Jake and Evelyn claimed, we must prevent his ever seeing the light of day again.
May the pain wrought by sword and sorcery stalk this stiff, stirring strumpet beyond the shores of death. Once more we have stumbled upon an amateur. One who disfigures the pallid elegance of necromancy's visage with rank and vulgar imperfections. She dabbled with flesh like a child with its pudding. She was deaf to the screams of her victims as she made the scalpel glide through exposed limbs with the easy grace of birds through air. And for what? For nothing but to command death, the true necromancer. It is life he wants to command. Immortality. Achieve this, and the screams of agony will not have thundered forth from tortured throats in vain. They will be forgotten in the maelstrom of time eternal. You keep your minds on a tighter leash than a priest his hidden desires. You shy away from the necessity that is torment for most short-sighted reasons. For the meaninglessness that is morality. What is humanity, after all? But a gathering of germs from which an exalted few may pluck the subject their studies require and vivisect them into oblivion while propelling themselves into eternity. Glory be this noble pursuit, tainted as it may be by the blunders of simpletons like Evelyn. Let us eradicate such vermin wherever we find it. Let us seal up every crevice it crawls from. But let us never lose sight of the higher purpose that the art of necromancy promises yet. So now to pursue said promise with haste and determination. Death is a friend of time. Life is not.
fits perfectly inside.
Precious mother. I'm a fool. Source hunter. Huh. By the health of the seven, you're here. There may yet be hope. Perhaps you remember me as a healer. Gods, what a herald of death I've become. I'm beyond redemption now. But you alone may save Sicile, may save all of Rivellon from the horror I've suffered. King Brachus. Brachus Rex from the tales of old. He lives. The mad Source King, the Lord of Chaos. I have awakened him. I've done a terrible thing. I've raised a mad king from beyond the grave. I imagined so very foolishly that I'd be able to extract an ancient secret from him. But with a simple flash of his arcane magic, I was finished. I'll tell you all I know, Source Hunter. Resurrected, revived. The king lives, but not as the man he once was. He retains the mark of death upon him, like a festering wound. The last of the mad Source Kings he was. The tyrant who nearly condemned Rivellon to oblivion. He began the War of Wars, marching brother against friend, until every land and home burned to death. It was during this dark time that your order, the Source Hunters, was formed. Brachus was defeated, and Source outlawed. Brachus was a dangerous monster, but he achieved things no man or mortal could have dreamt of. He alone is said to have known a great secret, how to break the Forge of Souls. I promised to extract the secret for a woman calling herself the Conduit. In exchange, she vowed to reveal to me a certain power of her own. In hindsight, I see that I dealt with the devil, and I've received my damnation. I was given a great stone, a bloodstone, but more charged with life than any I'd seen before. The Conduit said it would imbue Brachus with life enough to share the secret she craved. But what he has become, his powers have all returned, and I cannot stop him. My failures are so many, I can hide them no longer. In my pursuit of the Source King, I've called forth abominations that neither I nor any other can destroy. The ghoul that guards the lighthouse, the Baron of Bones, the twins by fire joined. Their ghastly faces haunt me, and they in turn have rifled through the graves and sarcophagi of Sicile in search of undead minions. Undead, Source Hunter? Unkillable? I fear this plague may never end, no matter how many times the rotten dead are defeated. Curse her name, her hell-sent promises. She claims to be a link between her goddess and the world of men. I never believed her divine claims, but I could not deny her great power. It was she who showed me that Bloodstone could be used for more than healing. Her stones, particularly powerful and potent, could raise the dead. What could turn any soft soul towards wickedness? My weakness was love, and it was love that she promised me. The Conduit had shown me how to raise skeletons and zombies from their graves. But what I craved was something far more rare. A second life. A true second life for my wife, Malia. She was a beautiful soul, snatched from the world of the living far before her time. Now the Conduit's promise seemed simple. A secret for a secret. I'd tell her how to break the Soul Forge, and she'd tell me how to bring Malia back. You can defeat the unholiness I've raised, Source Hunter. You can save the countless innocents that will perish under the Source King's mad fist. I pray... No, I believe you can reverse my failures.
So Theleron believed that by unleashing these monsters, he'd learn the secret to resurrecting his beloved wife. Aye, in Theleron's position, I'd wager many of us would do the same.
And the children shall burn. Sigils of terror and torment. Hear now, one who comes to watch the spectacle, to see the sovereign of the source ascend again. Or perhaps you are the first in a long new line, the first that will try to stop my dominion again. Oh, by the emerald eyes of the goddess, would you believe that I can still feel it ever so vaguely? The force of the stab that cleft my heart and sent my soul shivering into death. But my followers have done it. They have done it like I knew they would. Blood, the thick red gravy, the source of souls, has been yielded unto star-sent stones and has swept away the eternal shadows. How long has it been, I wonder, my first repose in death? An hour? The time it takes the seas to tear down cliffs. It is of no matter. I live, and I shall claim my throne anew. A fable I may have become as time dragged on, but a fact I am once more, little one. Don't all of you miserable mortals realize that they who are one with source have thrown off the burdensome mantle of death? I embraced souls. I drank it, made it part of my blood and my being. And so a warlord became a sorcerer, and a sorcerer became a king. The fools of this world dubbed me a tyrant, for the gods convinced them I was such, fearful as they were of my rise and power. Armies amassed, too many. Scores I see, too few. Death took me, too soon, but not for all time. Not a thing. There was a woman once that went by that name, until I mangled her body into that of a lich. Oh, my sister dearest, Cassandra, and her man-cat. Mere pets of mine, the both of them, tools to bruise and break as I saw fit. They bled so very beautifully. The reason for my resurrection, O simplest of spirits, is that I was destined to be. Were it not for the vainglorious fools that raised me now, it would have been another, perhaps wiser being that would have done so in time. And time is of no matter, only to be. Eternally, a woman seeks my secret, for her soul is entwined with another's. Yes, where once they were inseparable, now they have grown apart in purpose and intent. But my secrets are mine to keep. Perhaps when she lies shivering before me, pledging alliance to her king, I will break her forge before I break her. A source hunter. So you are, though you are so much more, and do not even know it. No matter, they still smell like you do, Huckby, your brother and sister hunters, as they closed in around me that first time. Fear, that most sly, most intangible of sense, drowned out soon afterward by the acid stench of urine. I had but to look at them, and they rusted their I undid so manifold we had to wade through the gore of the fallen. Oh, what a feast, what fountains of gravy we had. Alas, that there were too many, as there clearly are too many of you still. Although, life renewed has made me rather peckish, and from the looks of you need but the slightest of squeezes to squirt the sorcerer's sauce from your soft, fleshy shell. Yes, look at you, plump as a leech, bulging with freshly sucked blood. Oh, I do believe, as my servants would say as they brought in a squirming, plump girl on a plate, that dinner is served.
Does anybody else smell smoke?
sodden all the way to my boot soles.
Once my arrow tastes blood, it craves more. Time to switch some flesh.
This is the end! For you!
The time of your death is at hand.
A man-at-arms is always intense. And that is the final end of Brachus Rex.
May his soul remain in the depths of hell for good. Ooh!
Lucky find!
The king is dead. Long live... well, not he. He came close though, Brachus Rex. Close to fulfilling his dream. Dormant he would lie until loyal followers that persisted through centuries would restore him to life afresh. As a ghoul, no more was he reborn. Exactly the type of base necromancy I abhor. But now that he is dust at our feet, I can't help but feeling a morsel of pity. The work of ages, the desire beyond death, we undid with a simple stroke of the sword. Yes, well, something along those lines. Life, it is such a precious commodity. So precious indeed that death is dealt in droves to merely postpone it, to make it cross the boundaries set by nature. There is much simple irony to be found in these exploits, but at the heart of it lies an equally simple endeavor, which is to overcome the most primal of fears, the dread that prompts philosophy and religion both, and that is the fear of death. To overcome death, if it be possible, is to attain victory over the unconquerable. Such a victory, what a thing of beauty it would be. Still, all this talk about immortality hits the raw and ragged nerve of passing time with relentless momentum. Onward, onward! To be idle is to die.
It is strange, Source Hunter. I have heard many tales of Brachus Rex, the radiant ruler, and King Brachus, boon of our blighted land. How can it be that the stories sang him a hero when he was in fact an evil tyrant? I suppose a song of our world would be quite different if it were written in summer or in winter. Strange, is it not, how your summer or mine goes unmarked, but that of a king, even a winter one, is sung for a century after his death.
Again, and well met you are. Did you know I've constructed a little theory about you both? Yes, I have indeed. The theory is this. You are not you. Or rather, you are you, but you is not all there is to you. And that goes for both of you. But I see you're staring at me like a cow stuck in an astronomy lesson, so let me start again. I think that you carry two souls inside of you. One that belongs to the mortal human beings that you are now, and one that belongs to certain someones with whom we've both become acquainted. You remember that segment of the tapestry your efforts helped to mend, don't you? The two great generals? How they led the battle against the Void's first attack on Rivellon? It would explain a lot, wouldn't it? Your connection to the Void, your presence here at the end of time. True, the mystery of Starstone remains, but at this rate, we'll have it sorted out in 2 shakes of Ahu's tail. As luck would have it, a new portal awaits. Perhaps answers do as well. So, onward.
Magnificent. Oh, truly wondrous. I feel like a prisoner set free. Free to bask in the daylight once more. I was so fearful, petrified almost in the knowledge that I might see him again. You see, I knew the Mad King. In fact, I served him. I'm a wizard hunter, and that means I've seen many centuries pass me by. They weren't always happy ones, and you may take that as an understatement. I was once under Brachus's thrall, bound to him by perfidious magic. Life was an endless cycle of servitude, torture, and humiliation. Only after the first source hunters skewered him like the pig he was did my nightmare end. As you can imagine, I was afraid beyond all measure that the fiend would enslave us all once more. That I'd be cast back into the rank pit that was my past. But he hasn't, and he never will. Thank you. I will never forget this act of valor. So you have heard of her? Yes, I knew Cassandra. She was a sweet girl when we met. Hardly a woman yet. The very opposite of her deranged brother, who did not hesitate to butcher her for his own benefit. We were fast friends in those days. Aye, more than friends. Until he took her down to the dungeons, and she returned a woman no longer. A twisted lich had she become, with a twisted mind to match her grisly new shape. He remorselessly and relentlessly sought ways to cheat death. Cassandra and he were soul-forged, so he knew that if she would die, he would die. And so he turned her into a lich. Turned her into a creature neither living nor dead, so that he could break the soul forge without destroying himself in the process. Giving the matter no further thought, he rid his sister of her humanity, so as to rid himself of a spell that could threaten him. Such a man was Brachus Rex. Immortal in his mind and immortal to be in effect. As your swords and spells have demonstrated, though, to this world's everlasting contentment, his deranged fancy was not to be. I don't know. When the Source Hunters besieged Brachus's castle, I sought only to escape. Yes, I longed for freedom, for release. When I saw my chance, I ran and never looked back. You have foiled one of Leandra's vile designs, that much is certain. But I highly doubt you forestalled her endgame, whatever that may be. It is therefore imperative that we find her sister Ikara. As you've learned from the accursed duo that was Jake and Evelyn, the White Witch is somehow involved. I will vouch for her gentle nature, but alas, I cannot vouch for her current state of mind. Has she been corrupted by her sister, perhaps? Or have they become enemies locked in a murderous game of cat and mouse? There's no way of knowing until you find her. What I do know is that she lives in a cabin deep in Lacula Forest to the north. If anywhere, that is where I advise your travels should take you next. Very well, Hunter. My gratitude is yours, as is my service.
That's it. Brachus Rex is dead. The way he spoke about our forebears was horrific. I wonder how many Source Hunters had to die before the Source King was deposed. How can I but think of them when he flaunted them in front of us with such glee? Let Leandra resurrect him again. I'd welcome the chance to end his life as many times as necessary. What have we here? A study?
Wonderful. About time you got an education.
Guardians, dear guardians, when I see your faces, it is like the barriers of time tumble in upon themselves. But oh, how my heart aches when I think of the duty you adopted. It was more than even the gods had the right to ask of you. You did not want it, but you took it upon yourselves nonetheless. Though many wailed and many wept, in a ruptured world, wherein all resolve had crumbled, you renounced life and liberty to stand guard and protect every last morsel of creation. When I despair, I think of your sacrifice. In my darkest hours, I cherish the resolve that was you.
Good thing to be cherished.
Even though apparently we had to give up life and liberty for that to happen.
Hail, holy light, offspring of heaven, firstborn! About me. The Guardian's first disobedience, and the fruit of that I come no spy with purpose to explore. Which way I fly is he, whence thou returnest, and to ask or search, I blame thee not. For Rivellon is as the book of the gods before thee set, wherein to read his wondrous works and
My map is slowly filling up with secrets.
Hail, Source Hunter. Good to see you've reached Lacula Forest. There were times when I came to this neck of the woods just to whiff its wholesome air. Alas, that it is thick with sorcery these days. It surrounds us here, like an invisible mist. Takes cat's eyes to see it creep. Even so, it's plain as day to the east, all about Ikara's cabin. Immaculates beset it, no doubt under Leandra's orders. If she has ordered such thorough defenses of her sister's cabin, we may be certain that whatever lies within will be a prize more precious than butter-baked plaice. That means Ikara herself must be there, Hunter. And it is essential that you find her. Only she can shed light on the details of Leandra's plans. Ha! Zigzags would see you dash rather than mosey. But matters such as these require a thoughtful approach. Leandra and her cronies may be lunatics all, but they're far from brainless. So be wary, Hunter, and be safe.
Poor man. It seems he was eaten by a beast.
Well, partially, to be more precise.
In the name of the goddess, halt! Who goes there? In that case, you can rest easy, Hunter. There is no source to be found here, only the glory of Immaculates. Why, it's Silver Glen, of course. Once the abode of miners, now the abode of the faithful. We have traded the search for silver for the pursuit of divinity. I'm sure this sounds strange in what a stranger's ears, but you must know that but a short while ago a frightful sickness felled us by the dozen, until she who speaks for the goddess brought us a cure. She showed us how we may overcome the frailty and even the decrepitude of our mortal bodies. That is why we now live a life of devoutness and civility, so that we may become immaculate. But I suggest you talk to Father Loic if you want to learn more about the ways of the goddess. Be welcome, therefore, to Silver Glen. Blessed be all Immaculates. The world is not immaculate as yet, friend. Be wary, be vigilant.
Something fishy about this place.
Immaculates here seem to be a friendly enough bunch.
Seem being the operative word. Let's remain vigilant.
Hi there, cutie pie. Wanna have a good time?
Do you believe it?
Give me the strength.
Welcome be, O seeking souls, to this holy house of Immaculates. I am Loic, enlightened one among Immaculates, spokesman for the holy conduit, as she is spokesman for the goddess herself. Hers is the blood. Then it shall be my pleasure to answer them. We are the chosen ones of the goddess. The benedictions of the blood render our bodies and spirits unblemished, for you find yourself in the goddess's temple. Therefore it follows she wants you to take the true path. So here, have this hallowed tome. Read it, absorb the wisdom within, then find the second part and do with it the same. If an the conduit, yes, she the most exalted of all, second only to the goddess. It was she who brought us first her divine words, then her divine will, a will made real in blood. Truly, though, she is quite beyond your concern, O wandering soul. She stands so very high above your humble station. The goddess is the light and life of all. Corrupt is the world that generations of men and beasts have left behind, but immaculate it may be once more, cleansed in the blood of the unworthy. The few, the proud, the enlightened, theirs.
Will I read the words of the goddess?
And behold, said the goddess, the blood is the life.
Blessed be the goddess,
Free art
and
thou to
blessed
kill
be
this
the
lesser,
conduit.
for its soul is lost and impure. With it the goddess is the word. Then it shall be my pleasure. Do you hold it to be true, O seeker, that you are? Blessed be your willing spirit. Premise the first. In honor of the goddess, that which was stellar must become sanguine. Correct?
Agreed. That is correct.
Premise the second. The blood of the greater should be used in service of the lesser, so that balance may be achieved. Correct?
Yes, that is incorrect.
Premise the third. Only those who have partaken in the spilling of blood and thereby created the stone that lives, the stone soaked with blood, may be called an immaculate. Correct?
Agreed. That is correct.
Most gratifying. Oh yes, most exemplary indeed. You have understood the words of the goddess, and I deem you worthy of her true test. Of the true trial that shall become an immaculate, you must experience both the goddess's bane and her boon. Leave Silver Glen and take the western path. Follow it to where the winds howl and a great skull looms within the rocks. There you will find it, the hollow and the true trial within. Immaculate guards bar the way, but tell them you have my blessing and they shall let you pass. But take utmost care. The road is beset with horrors, and your mettle will be truly tested before you've even set foot within the goddess's trial. It would behoove you to train in advance of setting upon that treacherous path. I shall await you.
Brandon, what news from the mines?
No news, sir. Goblins will slice us to ribbons if we approach the bridge.
Unacceptable. I want those goblins out of my mine by yesterday.
Source hunter, are you? What brings you to... Don't be surprised. I'm finished with this one-pony rodeo, though.
I must say, I'm also...
I knew a source hunter'd perk up at the sound of a challenge.
Between you and me, the Troll King's sitting on a piece of treasure of more value than even he knows. A metal called tenebrium that can fetch a prettier sum than its weight in gold. I intend to lift it, sell it, and live out the rest of me days in comfort.
The devil's in the details, though, and I haven't managed to find a way to access the King's Cave, much less make off with the stuff without being noticed. But you're a source hunter. You can sniff out any point of mystery.
So let's make a deal, You find the tenebrium and bring it to me, and I'll deliver you a few pieces of information about Silverglen, and Lawrence in particular, that are sure to make your mouth water.
I wouldn't wish the wrath on me worst enemy, though.
So let me give you a little something to contain the tenebrium bars. It's lined with the fragments of a special stone that keeps rats' ill effects at bay.
Apart from Gungir's stature and incurable case of the uglies, he's not so different from a parakeet. Got a brain the size of a pea and a fervent passion for all things bright and shiny. The nutty oaf sits on a river of silver beneath these mines, but leases it to the mining company for a fraction of its worth in gold. He'd rather put those hefty minions of his on toll duty than mine these hills himself for 5 times the reward. I can't be certain myself where his cave is located, but at least one of those oaf lackeys of his must know where to look. They've got...
seems to be broken.
Welcome, initiates, to the Corridor of Bane. Here begins the prelude to purification. Advance and accept what is coming to you.
Help! I'm lost! I was trying to get to the hidden Immaculate Village. Is this the way?
Welcome, initiates, to the Corridor.
Look at the floor. The stone is black as night.
Sinister place, this Corridor of Bane.
Fasten tighter than the treasury.
Oh, I don't feel so good.
Hold! Our enemies have laid a trap.
Welcome, initiates, to the Chamber of Burdens. Only those who can balance the weights of knowledge will see the walls of ignorance evanesce up. Welcome.
I feel my insides rotting.
Welcome, initiates, to the Chamber of Burdens. Only those who can balance the weights of knowledge will see the walls of ignorance evanesce afore their eyes.
Careful! I've spotted a trap.
Welcome, initiates, to the Hall of Vigilance.
They say blood cures rot, but they also say that rats are lost ones, whatever that means.
tighter than the treasury.
done indeed. You have made it far. You have felt the goddess's bane, and now you shall feel her boon. Kill ye this fowl and pour its ruby essence onto the altar, so that her blessing will cure thee of thine ails. But this cannot be. What is this heathen witchery? The rot is gone from your flesh, yet you have yet to partake in the blessings of the blood. Proceed, just proceed with the sacrifice. Kill the chicken, collect its blood, and yield it to the Starstone. In the meantime, I'll be back. Goddess's foe remains in her holy chambers. See what the Defiler has done. A Starstone ruined. The Goddess's boon destroyed. Spill the blood of the Profaner. May the Lost One beg the Goddess's mercy. There they are, the infernal heathens that undid the Starstone. Drain the blood from them, render them unto the Goddess. You're bleeding!
Seven, have mercy on your soul.
happen?
Behold the goddess's glory, the invigoration of blood.
Light of the gods!
Surrender to my reaching embrace.
Spirits of Riverwalk, aid me.